Hello and welcome to day 19. Let's talk about snacking. Actually, let's talk about not snacking. I personally gained at least 20 pounds in the very first year of my immigration to Canada just because of snacking. It seemed like everybody was eating at all times. It was such a snacking culture compared to Russian society, where people had meals 3 times a day and nobody were eating in between. In the Soviet Union, we didn't even have prepackaged foods. Any food preparation would be an effort, so people just lived lives. They weren't always chewing something. Well, it all changed here in Canada, where snacking was part of life. It was almost like oxygen. Everybody was eating all the time. And it seems like science and wellness community were all united front. The message was out there that eating more frequent and less of a meal was good for you. And I'm not talking here about candies and salty or sugar glazed nuts. I'm talking about granola bars, apples, raw nuts, all those kind of healthy foods that were supposed to be good for us, but if consumed uncontrollably in between meals actually can mess up our insulin, mess up our whole system very badly. So I'm convinced today that snacking is not good for you, and I like to share my strategies of how can I avoid. Look at our work culture. Every sales meeting usually held with some food available. Always our managers at the bank would bring donuts and muffins and bagels, and it would be odd not to eat that. It would almost be like, are you against us? So it would be a peer pressure to consume it. And even if you wouldn't want to eat it, you would end up eating it anyway, because usually these meetings were stressful and boring. Boring. On top of it, we never had defined lunches, and most people had their sandwiches and pizzas or whatever right in front of their computers, and you would never be able to define where this lunch ends and snacking begins. It seems like it was a constant cycle of consuming food. Now add commuting to it, at least an hour from your office to your home. On the highway, you're stressed, you're bored again, and you just keep eating. And who is tracking how much have you eaten? Then you come home, and in most homes, kitchen is a center of the universe, and fridge is the center of the kitchen. And it's very hard to resist not opening your fridge every time you pass by. So as a result, we open the fridge, we get some berries, we get some apples, we get some whatever, and keep eating. Not because we want, but because we're bored. So how can we combat all this? I have to acknowledge it's not an easy task, and it took me a while to analyze my patterns and come up with some hacks on how I can cheat my brain out of this bad habit of constantly eating something in lieu of connecting, in lieu of reading, in lieu of discovering new hobbies. It seemed like nourishment from other walks of life, from other aspects of life, was being substituted by food. So the very first advice I would give anybody is expand your vision of what nourishment is. Nourishment is not just food. Nourishment is new music, literature, fashion, relationships, sex, even gossips with your friend is better than eating. And when you can embrace all different aspects of nourishment, you will feel fulfilled. Unfortunately, food has become so cheap and so easily available, and connection is so rare and so difficult. Oftentimes we have to make a plan with our friend to chat because everybody's busy, everyone's time is expensive. We all build our boundaries, and as a result, we have nobody to talk to. Food has become cheap, and connection has become expensive. And in the history of mankind, it was the other way around. Connection was everywhere. You had your family, friends, neighbors, colleagues willing to talk to you, and now everybody is on their phones. So what do? We substitute what we crave, what we want with food. And my deepest conviction is when we recognize that, it's much easier to understand the root of the problem. Stop buying crap. Stop buying these unhealthy foods, prepackaged foods, thinking whatever you're thinking when you're buying this, because it's so much easier to resist buying something in the store. You're really dealing few seconds with this problem, with this dilemma, rather than constantly being tortured at home by resisting eating something from your cupboard. So stop buying it. And if you shop along the perimeter of grocery store, you'll find that it's actually designed pretty well. If you just walk around the perimeter and don't go in the aisles in the middle of the supermarket, you should be fine. I actually just recently went to Sobeys and filmed how easy it is to stick to the perimeter of the store, to not be enticed by all this unnecessary, unhealthy, crappy kind of food. If you already have something like this in your cupboard and you haven't thrown it away yet, please do. In the previous episodes where I covered chic kitchen, creating your chic pantry and fridge, and throwing everything that you don't want to eat, there's no place in your life. If you haven't done that, do it. You will be thankful to yourself. Track everything you eat. Very simple. The only thing I would add to it, don't track it after you ate it, because oftentimes we overeat and then we bash ourselves and we feel bad about ourselves. If you write down your meals and write it down before you eat, you actually may find yourself more accountable to what you've just written, and eat less and eat according to the plan. And think, oh, I'm good. I'm just sticking to my plan. I'm sticking to my tracker. The next one is keeping your kitchen clean and tidy. Of course, we all have to do the dishes, and after the main meal, clean your kitchen, tidy it up. You will less likely want to grab a bite again, because you already see these empty counters and you would not want to mess it up, and enjoy your clean and tidy kitchen the next day when you wake up and have your morning coffee. Works with me really well. Reframe. Going back to the original, a bit philosophical message about what is nourishment and what is food. Every time you have this itch, every time you have this urge to eat something, to get something, think about it. Am I really hungry, or is it just boredom? And oftentimes it is boredom, because I don't know, we probably would have to be hungry. We probably have to not eat for days to be really, really hungry here in North America. That's how often we eat, and we all overfed. So reframe yourself into a different activity. And it's always good to plan things in advance. I like to plan my phone calls, because nowadays everybody's busy. You can just call your friend out of blue. Most people would not pick up the phone. So I like to plan those phone calls, those Zoom calls a little bit in advance. And I know I'm looking forward to this, and that reframes me from food, because I know I'm being nourished with connection. Set up a beauty shelf in your fridge. Every time I open the door, I always land my side on this beauty shelf with my most expensive and most valuable creams. And I think maybe I can nourish my face instead of nourishing my stomach, and refrain from original urge to eat. I refrain to moisturizing your skin, or doing a bit of facial, or doing coconut oil pulling and nourishing your gums, helping with inflammation, allegedly your teeth get whiter when you do coconut oil pulling. And this very 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a different activity can help you to reset, not only get distracted from your original urge, but also kind of feel good about yourself. Feel like, yay, I'm on my track to be a skinny, beautiful, well-cared woman. And what I just did, instead of harming me, actually enhanced my routine. And that alone helps me to feel better about myself. We oftentimes confuse thirst with hunger. Please be aware that oftentimes when you feel a growling stomach, it's not because you're hungry, but because you are thirsty. Have this beautiful sparkling water bottle with maybe a wine glass, maybe champagne glass, maybe on a silver tray. Go for it. Make it visually appealing and gorgeous, and have a drink. Helps me to steer clear from alcoholic drinks, because I used to drink wine habitually. Now I drink sparkling water habitually. And if not sparkling water, maybe a carafe where you just put tap water with some ice, lemon, mint. You're nourishing your eyes by looking at a beautiful picture. I like Dutch painters and genre kind of art. Think about Dutch artists depicting a bottle of lemonade and try to stage it in an artsy way. Maybe like Matisse, style your water bottle in his style. And now you see you are reframing from original, very basic urge to eat something to creating something beautiful. You're distracted, you're reframing, and you're nourishing yourself with beauty, with substance, but in a different way. Well, last but not least, meal planning. Nothing will happen without proper meal planning. It's the cooking cards, it's defining your basic meals, it's organizing your kitchen, your fridge, your pantry, your grocery chart, your batch cooking. All those things will help. And we'll talk about logistics of meal planning in future videos, where I will share our strategies, how we organize food preparation process. Because without this, you can have all the willpower, you can have all the best intentions, but you won't be able to succeed, because you need the environment, you need the system that will carry you forward. Not work against you, but work with you. And on that happy note, I'll leave you. Please don't snack mindlessly, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.